Hey everybody, Rich here, South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. And this is a video I had hoped I'd never have to make, but apparently I do. The other day I went to harvest an outdoor colony from a tree, not a swarm, 8-9 paddles of comb, right about here where my hand is. And I took my little, direct your camera down, I took my little bucket back with me because it's just so easy to grab, and it's worked perfectly for everything else I did. But I went to do this removal and it seemed perfect. Everything went exactly right. I'm up here sucking up bees, cutting comb, bringing the comb down to a table, sucking bees, bringing it down, sucking bees, bringing it down. Everything seemed to go just fine. But when I got home and went to put everything together, put the bees in with the comb, I had thousands of dead bees. And in the past, I've done removals and not had 2 dead bees in the bottom of the bucket. And I didn't understand what was wrong because everything seemed to be perfectly correct. Up there on the top of the ladder, checking the vacuum, it was just right. But that long, straight shot, and even though I have a piece of curved tubing at the end here, that long, straight shot, apparently the bees built up too much speed. They were whacking into here. They were all covered with nectar. So obviously there's nectar stomachs were being regurgitated as they hit. It was very, very unpleasant. I still had a few thousand live bees in there. I just had a huge mass of dead bees. And I had a bunch of bees that I thought were going to make it, but by the next morning they hadn't made it. So this vacuum has performed perfectly as long as I was using a short hose, whether it be this one or another one. I think usually it's this one. Usually I'm using a short hose. I'm either taking a colony out of the ground or someplace where I've never needed more than this, and it's been mostly laying on the ground and partly up. That long straight shot down, this vacuum isn't up to. I should have taken the vacuum that I made that is modeled after the Bushkill style vacuum cleaners, bee vacuums, I should say. I didn't think to take that one. I took this nice little one. So this bucket has limitations that I was not thinking of when I originally did it. That's what this whole video is about. It's just,
Question.
yes.
So would it have helped if you'd had the bucket up higher and the hose would have been shorter?
Yes. So as best I can put it in context here, this hose that I normally use is 7 feet long. This hose that I was using as an addition to it, in this case, is about another 4 feet. So we have about 11 feet of hose here, which I would never use 11 feet of hose if I was just on the ground like this, because I just don't want them tumbling through all this. I would use as short a hose as possible for what I'm doing and regulate my vacuum with my flap right here. The ladder I was on was an 8-foot ladder. I was working above my shoulder level from the top of it. So I was probably working at the extreme end of this thing. So I guess I was working at about 10 to 11 feet off the ground, vertically speaking. Hope that information is helpful to somebody if it gives you some idea of what may be too much or what might not be too much. I'm not going to experiment with this and kill bees just for the sake of the experiment, but there's a couple of bits of data in case you want them. And the way mine is designed, here's this. I'd had to have all this up high.
On the table maybe, or on the ladder with you?
On the table wouldn't have made much difference. It would have been half up there. And I was by myself. I didn't have anybody to hand it up to me or anything like that. This vacuum has its limitations, a limitation I didn't know it had. You can't take a long stretch of straight hose. They can build up too much speed because the pressure was just perfect. As it happens, the other day, a friend had to borrow a bee vacuum from someone else to use it, and he realized he had never actually used a bee vacuum before, and no one had ever shown him exactly what the right amount was. And he looked at my videos and he looked at other people's videos and says, all you guys all do is this and go, it's perfect. What does that mean if somebody's not there to show you? And I thought for a second and I told him, okay, if the bee has all 6 legs firmly planted on a piece of comb and you're holding the vacuum here, you shouldn't be able to pull her off. But if she has 4 legs down and 2 legs up, you can probably pull her off. That's the right pressure level. You know, a little side touch is the way it's normally done to dislodge a couple of those legs. But there should not be enough force in the vac so that you can pull a bee off if all 6 legs are firmly planted. So hopefully that's a help to someone in the future. It's just one of those things you don't think about once you've done it a few times. But it was just a shock to me to go from a vacuum that I have used successfully without having as many as 4 dead bees in the bottom after complete removal to a complete failure of the removal. The hive did not make it. I ended up, just dumping the whole thing out, cleaning everything up, melting the comb, and went from there. Luckily, a lot of it didn't go to waste. They went ahead and robbed the thing out. But that's all this video is about, is a failure from this bucket. That's it. Sadly, this is Beekeeping with Rich today. South Florida Beekeeping with Rich. Have a great weekend.